Welcome to Sound Values, powered in part by LSA Burger and Classic of Denton. The views and opinions expressed by the show hosts and their guests are those of the show hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the sponsors, DentonRadio.com, or the Denton Convention and Visitors Bureau. For more information, visit the Policies and Procedures page at DentonRadio.com.
Everyone, thank you for tuning in to DentonRadio.com. My name is Kine Beats, and this is Sound Values. We are broadcasting out of the beautiful Discover Denton Welcome Center on the gorgeous summer Denton Square. I am sitting here with the founder of Color But Entitled. We got Wale for the first time in the house, and then we've got my good homie Sage Baker. Y'all know him from a couple previous times. We've booked him a couple times. He's been playing shows around town for a while, and you know, you went to San Antonio recently, didn't you?
Yeah, had a great time at the Paper Tiger down there.
Yeah, you told me that was a fun time,
It's
dude.
pretty cool.
So that's
Free
what's
week.
up. Yeah, there you go. Good times. But yeah, it's Wale's first time to be on the show. Actually, we met down in Dallas.
Yeah, at Sage's. No, not Sage's, but Porter Baker's.
Yeah. Or it was Porter's. He had his album, his listening party at that Instagram studio, which was an interesting vibe. If you've never been to an Instagram studio, they basically just have like 15 different wild backdrops for you to use. So my personal favorite was the one with the roses and the umbrella.
Yeah,
I went hard on that one.
That was very cool.
That was a good one. But I want to kind of get to talking to you, Wale, real quick. You kind of approached me about this relaunch, the relaunch of the brand Color But Entitled. You've got Sound Fusion, which is going on the 21st of this month.
Yes,
sir. You know, so coming up real soon.
4 days.
Yeah, man, you've got a whole lot of, just good going on. First off, you've got the homie DJ Producia in the house. He's actually been up here and played a Breakfast and Beats with us before.
Cool.
And then let's see, man, we got DeLeon Rovan.
Deleon Rovan.
And then
crazy.
Cure for Paranoia, which is fantastic. Sansonite. Is it Ebio or Ebo or
Ebo.
Okay, Coach Tev, and then Sage
Sage
Baker.
Baker.
Yeah,
sir.
that's what's up. $12 pre-sale, $15 at the door. So man, let's and it's gonna be going down at. Is this
It's gonna be going on
Ruins.
in Ruins. Yeah, we actually made a
Yes.
quick change last minute
Okay.
for $10. So
Okay.
we're doing $10 before 10 p.m. just to be able to pack the house.
Okay.
Because we want to get everybody to experience the full artist preview because we're opening up with Deleon Rovan followed by Sage Baker. So we want to make sure nobody really misses the full show.
Absolutely. You got to be there for the whole thing. That's
You
what
got
that's
to,
what it's
man.
all about, man. That's what it's all about. So when you're relaunching, like let's kind of talk about it. Why did you feel the need to relaunch a brand that you were working on?
Okay, so a little insight on the brand. The brand has been out for less than a year. So I started October of last year, and I found myself basically listening to a lot of people, just seeing what the people wanted was, hey, give us this many colors, give us options, But the reality of that is that people didn't know that those options came with cost on my end. So
Yep.
I came up with like 3 different designs, 5 different colors each. I was like, oh, crap, like, what do I do?
Yeah.
So but then to narrow down the message, I took 3 months ago, I did like just some realization as to what I really wanted to do and how I wanted to go about exposing the brand. And I was like, I came up with the event Sound Fusion.
Okay.
Yeah. It took me a while to really come out with it because it's never something that I intended to do, whether it be in the fashion industry or in music. But I was like, bro, like I'm really insecure about myself. How can I give others a platform to promote themselves within my brand and kind of give double awareness, you know? So
yeah, for sure. And so when you were coming, like did you feel as if you had like too many designs? Like, is that kind of what was going on? It was like it was too big of an investment, because I've experienced this myself in things where I'm like, oh man, I got like 10 double XLs and all my mediums are gone. Like that kind of scenario.
Brand struggle.
Yeah.
Always, man.
Yeah, I got to make some bigger friends is what I started saying. Like,
man, not only that, but it was just more so of like, instead of me, kind of like with like music, for example, like you just don't dump all your music out into the internet like, hey, here's all I got.
Yeah.
You kind of like do a progression.
Okay.
So it's like I went simpler and I had like these 3 dope ideas and I was like, man, like I'm just going to pull it out there.
Okay.
I should have started with one collection, then worked on the next, then so I gave people too many options.
Okay.
So it's like 3 designs times 5 colorways. That's 15 different options you got to choose from.
Yep.
For one person, it's like, oh, like, where do I start?
Yeah, and there actually is some science to people having too many choices. It's like when we walk into the grocery store, and I don't know, like I remember after I saw this, it was a study that was done, and it showed that people can't really like look at more than 5 options. I think it was something like 5 to 7 options. More than that, it's like I'll just grab whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so there is some science to putting out a few items here, a few things here. And Sage, would you agree that like he said, that can apply with music too?
I mean, that's how I do my releases. As like I probably have about 20 to 30 songs that I have finished that are ready to be mixed and everything like that, but I take it one at a time. So then honestly you kind of make that like, oh, when's the next thing, or when's the next thing, then maybe like EP. So maybe go from like a shirt to like a full collection to like this entire line.
Yeah.
But don't give people too much up front, just kind of keep them wanting more.
Yeah, exactly. So come out with kind of more limited things.
Yeah.
That was like I said, that's where I've been too, is kind of like, okay, cool. Next time, this many, next time let's do this, and I think definitely, you learn from the first few times when you're investing into, and one of the hardest things to do is to get people to be interested in your brand, and so that's when the art and the business starts to collide, and that's where it can be difficult for me to walk up to somebody and push my brand, even though I love the brand. I'm wearing my shirt too, something modern, like it's hard for me. Even though it's still hard for me to do that kind of that hustler's mentality on people in a way, because it's more about the artistic stuff that I like, and I'm just and just every once in a while, if I think somebody might be interested, that's when I'm like, hey,
you end up talking.
You want to grab a shirt or a CD, man? Yeah. So something like that.
I think you both do a really good job of making that personal connection first, and I feel like that's really important with the audiences. It's not like you're like, hey, how's it going? Do you want to buy a shirt? It's like you've developed this relationship with someone over time. And I feel like at the end of the day, like that will stand the test of time, rather than just, oh yeah, this guy came up to me on the square and started throwing merch at me.
Yeah, just hustling merch. Yeah, I think it's Matt Battaglia, who actually does the booking down at Ruins. I've talked to him on the show before. And, he always describes stuff as kind of like a slow drip. That was even kind of like the name of a booking. I think he did some booking under that name for a while. And I've always liked that idea, is kind of like you said, you can't just throw everything out there at once. Just let it happen slowly but surely, and it'll start to catch more and more momentum, to the point where all this, and you get better and better at it. Your designs get better. People learn more. You see what people like about your designs, or maybe what people are gravitating towards too.
No, for sure, man. Like, it's really been an experience with having like a lot of questions about the brand. It's like people go in, people look at me like, I started vendoring probably about like March or April of this year. Like, being a vendor at small events. And I noticed, like, I had a little banner. I was like, man, I'm going to get ready for this first event. I'm going to have everything. So I had a banner that would hang over the table, and people could see the name big and bold. And it's like, I would almost get like a negative connotation of people just like looking at it from a distance, so which was crazy was that I took away the banner like 2-3 events later, and I got so many people approach me like right after that. And it was
interesting.
They were like, because I mean, I get why you see the word colored and then you see the word entitled, like not knowing the understanding behind it, so a little insight as to what the brand is that I believe, in my personal belief, is that, regardless of whatever color you are in a sense colored. Because the word color has always been used for African American, and I feel like if you're white, brown, yellow, like at the end it's still a color. Which brought me to the word colored. And the entitled aspect, it's kind of like it is a negative connotation. I tell people like, hey, like in reality the world does not owe you anything. But you have a right to speak your truth, showcase your art, speak your music. Like, you have that right. And it's really gonna be up to you if you're gonna do it. So it's like when people saw that word colored but entitled, they're like, oh crap, like I'm definitely gonna stay as far away from this as possible. So it's like with everything, it's like it's a storytelling brand per se.
For sure.
And that's why I really came up with the context sound fusion. It's like, how can I get a bunch of different people, not only from just music to people that are dancers and visual artists. How can we grasp that into the next one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but Sage has been bear witness to one of the projects that I've done in relaunching, which is grabbing a bunch of different ethnicities and artists and curators to not only rock the brand and modeling the brand as well, but also, you know, we have 2 video launches of these individuals talking about what the brand means to them.
Okay.
To allow people to not only gain a better concept, but for them to actually understand the in-depth meaning, like, yo, it's not what it seems.
Yeah.
You really got to dive deeper than what it is, you know, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, the name itself is a conversation starter. You know, if you're willing to have that conversation. And, you know, I can see why it would make people, you know, just because, like you said, you know, people shouldn't be afraid of the word colored. But I can see the word entitled, you know, because we have once again, you said the negative connotation on that word. But it is a conversation starter, and I think that you could say that that's what the brand is about, is starting those conversations between anybody and everybody and gaining a better understanding. And like you said, you know, you've got all different types of people, you know, modeling, you know, wearing and modeling, including your brother, actually.
Yeah.
You know, sporting.
Kate and I were out there for real.
Sporting the brand as well. You know, so I think that the name is a conversation starter for sure. And, you know, I think the more people learn about it, you know, they just can't be afraid to ask the questions. You know, they can't be afraid, what's this about? You know, what is this? But, yeah, it's interesting how you took the banner down and then more people started approaching, you know, started coming up. So I want to kind of talk about the music side of things too. And how did you start developing the show when you were putting it together? Like,
honestly, it was random.
Okay.
Like, the first person I met, not even knowing he was an artist, was Delion Ravon.
Okay.
So like I was in an event at for Vibes at 211 Irving.
Okay.
And he literally came up to me and was like, "Yo, like I love what your brand stands for. I want to buy a hat." The next day, like I had already followed him on Instagram, and like the next day I go on his Instagram, like, "Yo, he's an artist. Call him and hit him up first."
Yeah.
Then came Sage. Then I just started finding a bunch of people that either know each other or don't know each other, and I just literally just started gravitating to like, yo, like these people are doing a lot of great stuff out here, not just in Dallas, but just like Texas as a whole.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't even know about them. Like I had never heard of Sage Baker or Evo or Coach Tev until just pure research.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and it like their music is so like wow, like it beats the word mainstream to me.
Yeah.
And it's more so like, bro, like he considers himself indie in some aspect, and I'm like, this is some good stuff.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
You know, this is like some good stuff, and
yeah.
I'm just like, bro, like, why isn't this on the radio?
And so, where did you come across it? Was it like a Spotify?
Man,
or just
no,
Facebook,
like it was
like
literally just Instagram. Like I went from Delion Ravon's Instagram, came about
just clicking through.
Yeah, I think it was actually Delion Ravon was in a car. He posted like a little. I think you and him might have a song together or something.
We've got quite a bit
something.
in the works.
So it's like I saw it on his Snapchat.
Okay.
On his Instagram, and he had tagged him. I was like, oh cool, let me click on this dude. And I'm like, I started hearing some of his stuff, and I'm like, oh crap, like definitely gotta hit this dude.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so me and Sage met when we both worked at the restaurant and bar, like literally right there, you know. And I don't really remember the first time I heard your music though, but I remember when I interviewed you. I think it must have been right before that because you had stuff on SoundCloud. Yeah. And you had some homies who actually made a Drake remix that was really tight. I remember you showed me that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was actually pretty good. So I think I had heard your stuff when we worked there, and I listened to your SoundCloud.
Oh man, I just tried to keep it a secret because I thought I was terrible for just until recently. I feel like I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
I told everybody that I made beats when I was up there. I mean, I still do. So
it was hard. I was always afraid that I'm like gonna tell one person, everyone will find out. It wasn't until recently, you know, I started telling people. Like I guess probably about like a year and a half ago. Yeah.
There you go. And so how did you start getting your artists together, you know, reaching out to people? How did you then go about finding a venue that you wanted to host this at?
Man, like I was trying to call everywhere and anybody. Like, you know, I was literally just watching what people would do on a Friday night because I was never like I'm never really like the going out type. Like I'm more conceited, I'm to myself. And I saw this dope spot. Like, you know, at first it was between two spots, which was Green Elephant and Ruins. I was like, Ruins seems more like a smaller space, you know. 'Cause I didn't want to give myself too big of a platform.
Exactly, yeah.
And fail, You know, because I mean, it was like, man, like Ruin seems like the perfect spot. Like it's not too big, it's not too small, and it can definitely like fill up event. Like it definitely has a vibe to it.
It's got aesthetics
for
sure.
It has some dope aesthetics,
Yeah.
you know. So it's like, you know, with all those visuals, you know, I was like, man, like I'm not gonna give myself a hard challenge and not try to go through with it. Because I was like, hey, I'll start at the main thing was, you know, how many people can you fit? You know, and I called Green Elephant. Green Elephant was like 350. I was like, oh, that's a lot of people. Like I don't even think I've been in a room with that many people before. And Room was like, okay, 200. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I think this is doable. You know, like I started saying to myself, this is doable. So, I mean, yeah, that came about. Contacted them, and funny enough, like Matt was like, bro, like I would love to give you the spot, but only if you can secure one artist. And the dude was like, if you secure Care for Paranoia, I will let you have this day. Like, so I literally was like, bet. Like, I had already told him, I was like, man, like, I got you. I got you. So, like, while we're on the phone, I'm DMing Cure for Paranoia, emailing them. I'm like, yo, like, I got to have you guys this and this. The moment they say yes,
you're ready to roll.
Locked in the day. I was like, man, let's do it. You know,
that's
so
what's up, dude.
After that, it's, you know, it's we're living in the moment right now. You know, so.
Yeah, and that's what it's about, man. Is, you know, there's a lot of people who can be nervous because of rejection, but just keep sending those emails, asking, seeing what you can do, and if it takes you to, you know, direct message somebody and be like, hey, this is what I need. Can you guys make it happen? Then yeah, there you go.
I think that's like been my biggest challenge in, you know, growing the brand is that asking for help.
Yeah.
You know, with being now that I'm wanting to gain more exposure to the brand and give it more awareness, I've found myself emailing a lot of people that are out of state.
Yeah.
You know, and I was just like, bro, like, and I've had like, it's like the rule of thumb. It's like for every like 10 people I DM, I might get one response, but that one response is like, yo, yes, I'll rock your stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'll send you an order out. And I've had a lot of stuff working on behind the scenes with different people in out of state to give that exposure. You know, to give that exposure, and in all honesty, it's a journey, and it's forever going to be a journey.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you constantly have to be evolving and finding new ways to get people interested, get people to come out. I understand that, man.
For sure.
I mean, hosting events and throwing shows and all that, you constantly have to be evolving and finding out, like, what's something that's going to make people want to come out, you know? Besides just putting some music in a square room and then being like, okay, you should guys come. You should all come. Well, why? Because there's music. Well, we can go see music all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, creating that feeling and that vibe and a reason for people to come out is you know, a constant, you know, evolution and trying to figure it out.
You got to sell the experience.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And if you don't have the experience, you probably should get back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep. And so I just heard you've got stuff in the works with De Leon. All right, so what's going on with that, huh? What's up?
I'm honestly just waiting to buy my dream microphone. Getting a setup. I'm getting my setup right. I've already been writing, practicing.
What is the
like
dream mic, dude?
I'm down to 3. You know, I don't want to get into
mics.
all the letters and numbers of
Okay.
it, but there's 3.
All right.
I'm gonna see what happens.
If you just had to guess how much your dream mic cost.
A rack.
Okay. Well, I mean, there you go.
It's not
good.
crazy like industry standard, but still, you know.
I don't know how much is an industry standard microphone.
Man, I think somebody
like $3,000.
Zay told
$4,000?
me. I mean, Zay's the.
Yeah.
You know, he knows a lot of things. So he told me, he was like, yeah, man, this one guy the other day, he got like a $6,000 microphone, and I was like, well. He's probably doing all right.
I want to know. I just want to know.
Yeah.
What does a $6,000 microphone like? Would I really sound that much better? I mean, I'm down.
No, I'm playing. It's just all about. I think it's about clarity.
Yeah.
Easy. You don't have to like work too hard with the EQs.
Yeah.
It's just actually getting it right. But I've been starting to build with my little brother. I'm trying to work on some of his garage. It's just like a little vocal booth. Once I get that set up, I'll probably have 100 songs done in a month. You know?
There you go.
I got so much in my head
so
that
then you can have the space.
I just haven't had the tools. You know, I haven't had the tools and stuff, and that's the main thing. And De Leon's being real patient with all that process, but just want it to be right. I want my own space.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to veg out and create. You know.
Yep. Yeah, man. I feel you on that. I've luckily got my own space to be able to do that stuff. So. You know, that's literally what I was doing before I walked out the door here. I was just playing on the guitar, trying to figure out something to go behind this beat that I'm working on. And you know, when you were talking about industry mics, I was always interested in what they used at the NPR Tiny Desk, because you know they like put the mic it's way down here, really skinny. Those are like $3,000, you know. So like when I looked up the hi hat or the mic the guy uses on the hi hat, it was a $3,000 hi hat. So I was like, or a $3,000 mic. I was like, all right, cool. I don't play the drums, so I don't even need that. Like,
yeah, I'm just trying to be able to record in like a closet
Yep.
setting. Yeah. That's all I want. Because I mean, I was working with this band probably like a year and a half ago, which is why I put out that song Switch, did really well. Mm-hmm. I didn't put out music for years because I was working with this band. Didn't end up working out. But when we were recording in the studio, you have the huge mixing boards, the microphone booth, and 2 rooms over, making stuff. It was just all way too spread out. And then finally it got some headway, because I was like, look, man, like, just move the microphone next to where we're making the beats. Move it right here. Get the little reverb shield set up. I'm good to go.
Yep.
You know, but it's like the whole, like my first real industry experience was just kind of, this isn't what I like about music.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I like just everything right here.
Yeah.
It's where I can just be a vegetable and just turn around.
That's what I like to do too, man.
Yeah, so.
Because I can have my sampler plugged in, my keyboard hooked up, and my guitar, and I can just go. You know? Okay, cool. I'm going to do this right here. Ooh, that works. Okay, let's find something here. Cool. All right, let's trigger this. Okay, let's do this sample. You know? Yeah, dude, that's definitely what it's about. I love being able to have a creative space to sit down and like you said, veg out, for lack of a better word, man.
Yeah, as soon as I get off the day job.
Yeah, and so as you are developing the show, you're getting the artist book. Cure for Paranoia gives you the go-ahead. Then you got to come up with, okay, how am I going to organize it? What is my lineup? Who's going to play when? And that can be taxing in itself when you're sitting down trying to figure it out. So how did you kind of come up with how you were going to the lineup?
Honestly, I left that up to my DJ.
There you go.
DJ Predacier.
Okay.
I mean, I've been to like 3 of his events prior before actually meeting him in face to face, and I was like, hey, bro, like this is what it is.
Yeah.
I need this lineup in a certain time order, and I don't think it's an order on the actual flyer, but you know, everybody knows when they're playing everything like that. But the person I can't say that we're opening up with is Delion Rovin.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think the reason that he chose him was the hype that he brings to the stage.
Yeah.
To open up, it's like it's crazy, and Sage can probably bear witness to this. Like it's really like no other. Like, you know, the flow of everything, and then to have Sage, it takes a little bit more mellow, smoother vibe, and I'm just like, yeah,
you gotta think good. Like I always think of it like a track meet, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's just because you're at the beginning. Like that, you're the first leg. You still got to get out there and go.
Yeah.
Because it's about the event. You know, it's not like, oh man, I'm an opener. It's like, you know, we're all underground artists.
Yeah.
At a certain extent, it's not like, you know, most of us still got a day job.
I don't even.
So it's like you're the first person. Go out there, do your thing, show out, get people's ears on it. You know.
Doing that and living by that has gotten me opportunities that I wouldn't have had. I remember I played a show at Deep Ellum Art Co., and it was, you know, one of my favorite shows that I've gotten to play. And afterwards, the owner of Deep Ellum Art Co. was like, "Man, we should have had you play second. Like, we should have had you play second instead of these other individuals who were playing, because there was more energy that I brought." You know, so he was like, I just didn't think it that 8 p.m. somebody was going to come in here and, you know, have this kind of energy and have people having that much fun and getting down and grooving with it. And then by doing that, I got more shows after that. And then that got sent back to the guys so Margin Walker, who booked me for that show, they heard about that. And because the venue was like, yo, he was awesome. And then they booked me for another show. And then somebody messaged Margin Walker and was like, we need an opener for this random show that Break Science is going to be playing at the door. They were like,
right in the context.
Here's this guy. Boom, take it. You know, he'll do it. He'll show up. He shows out. So yeah, just like you said, you've got to come out ready to play.
So that never say no mindset. Do you think that would work in your industry as well?
Honestly,
you know, just because I know that we had previous conversations about how some groups will do something once a week, like how
we did for a while. Oh yeah.
And then it's like, you know, never say no. We've got the space, so let's do it. I feel like there are pros and cons to that, but I mean, like what you're saying is you got a great opportunity from it.
Yeah.
And it's similar for me doing Free Week in San Antonio. Now, like the Paper Tigers, like the guy who like really runs it,
Yeah.
is like in my DMs, like, when can you come back out?
Yeah.
For a paid gig.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. So I guess as
mean,
far as event curation and T-shirts selling and all that,
it's been like, like I've had people come to me, of course, like, hey, like, this is what I'll do, but at this expense.
Yeah.
And some of them I'm like, hey, look, I would really love to, but I'm gonna put you on hold. Like, now, I'm not saying no.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna put you on hold, just on the sideline for now until I can get there.
Yeah.
So like right now, it's like I have to be able to know what I'm taking on.
Yeah.
Whether it's paid or not, and it's like all that, in a sense, I want to make it work in my favor, not just for me, but for the brand.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't mind, giving out free merch to be able to help out and do all that, because it's, in a sense, it's still a tax, but I don't look at it as a profit and loss right now.
Yeah.
I look at it as opportunity.
Yeah.
Because looking at it from a profitable standpoint, it's not going to get you far in life right now.
No. Yeah.
Looking at it as like, okay, cool, we're just going for exposure.
Yeah.
And then whenever I set up a little bit of coin, that one person that has that good reach, that influencer, and I'm like, okay, cool, I can actually hit your price tag, and I got a little bit coin saved up. All right, cool, I'm going to invest in you, because at that point, it's not just me investing within me, it's me investing within the brand.
Exactly.
And I see that as just opportunity. So it's like I never tell anybody no.
Yeah.
Like I have yet to tell anybody no. It's just, man, like, hey, I'd love
sometimes you
to
gotta
work
put
with
them
you.
on hold.
Yeah, I'm gonna put you on hold right here. Like, I've texted and emailed a couple of dudes like in France.
Yeah.
And they have like 500,000 people following, and and I'm just like, bro, like 500,000 people. I emailed the dude. I'm thinking like, it's like, maybe $50 to $80. It's a post, it's a picture.
Right.
Yeah.
It's nothing
dude
crazy.
hits me with the email, it's like $350. I'm like, oh shit.
You're like, okay. You look at your budget,
yeah.
and you're like, I'm
Nah,
gonna put you on
that's,
hold.
yeah, that's a
There's-
quarter of my rent.
There's a ton of stuff, man, that I think about that all the time too. And so I work for a small company, and so sometimes I'll sit down with the guy who started it and ask him questions. And so recently I sat down with him and I was like, man, I'm not sure whether to invest in live stream equipment, live show equipment, or what. And he was like, well, which one, so he kind of talked me through stuff. Eventually I was like, well, we need a better projector, and we need, a good projector screen. Like, I'm tired of having to borrow stuff from 2 venues that have them. And then he was like, you can just have ours. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, we don't use the one. There's one just here. We don't use it. We use the one in the other room, but we haven't used this one in months. You can just
have it.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, well, that
all right, check that off. So now
that clears up.
I've got 2 things I have to deal with now.
Yeah, so I got that done. But I know what you mean by, because I'll look at stuff and I'm like, okay, what do I want to invest in? Well, man, I wish. Okay, I could throw 1,000 at that, but I know I shouldn't, so I'm not going to, because it's not the right time yet. I know I could do this, so it's not only throwing all your product out, but not throwing your small amount that you do have in this world into all of it right away.
Nah, for sure. And like, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's like that whole never saying no mentality. I've given people opportunity. Like, people are like, yo, like, I want to help you and do this, and we get to, let's say, a shoot, and they're like 2 hours late, and I'm just like, like, but I mean, I didn't say no.
I won't say no, but I will say not again.
Like you said, where it's it's like, never say no, especially in the current spot where you're at.
Yeah.
But I think as you kind of get along through the trial and error of not only like, you're gonna take the sign up at your show, like maybe you just need to learn certain tendencies with people as well, in certain venues or whatever, just to where you're like, okay, never say no doesn't work here, because I might be wasting my time with this.
Yeah.
Where I could be using those 2 hours the person was late. I could have been using those 2 hours to be working on design. Stuff like that, because, time is very valuable.
Yeah.
Maybe not a profit, in your pockets, but like a profit for, like, I need my time.
Like, the one thing, man, that I'm working on right now, and I'm probably gonna work on for a minute, is just like budgeting my time properly. It's like, what am I gonna do every hour on the hour right now? Like, where I'm at right now in building the brand is just, I want to try to contact 10 different people a day. It's like, I'm gonna literally go, I have like a 1 to 10 check mark list. It's like, hey, I've contacted like 5, and like, from like 9 a.m. to like 2, I'm giving a little break, and DM like 5 more in the middle of the night. It's like, it's like I'm doing that at, like, in the way I'm doing it, I'll probably go on like Sage's just page. I'm like, cool, looks like a rad person. Let's see if they're interested. Like that's literally it. Like
so you do. So are you're talking about like contacting like influencers and models
like
through that?
I'm just
kind of
I'm just contacting like whether you're an influencer or a regular everyday person.
Yeah,
You
just
know,
somebody who looks like it works with
For
it.
me, it's like I'm not even worried about your following right now. Like in the
Yeah.
beginning, I was, but it's like learning the industry and learning life. It's like I'm not even worried about that right now. I'm worried about just having another body.
Yeah.
Wearing the brand.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to do what you have to think like. What I've always done with myself is I look around and I go, okay, who's complaining and what are they doing? I'm gonna do not that.
Yeah.
So if somebody's like, man, nobody's coming to my shows. Okay, well, what are you doing? And I'm gonna not do that. I'm gonna do
the complaining.
Like man, people didn't come to this. People didn't do this. People didn't do this. And like I've been there, but I've always wondered. I've never blamed it on anybody else but my own performances or my own lack of whatever. It's like, okay, how do I get people re-engaged?
Yeah.
How do you keep? Sorry to interrupt.
No,
go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
no, go.
Oh, do you? I guess like what you're thinking. I guess how you're talking about like some people will, if like they don't show up or if you have a event that flops. How do you think about that from like the artist perspective? Because you put on shows and you're also a DJ.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about like if you're playing and people are like coming in and coming out, or what do you think about like artists who don't stay for the entirety of your performance? Does that get to you at all? Or
I like it when people do come for the whole performance, but I also understand that people do have lives outside of it. So like me, for instance, like now that I have a daughter, I might be able to go to the show, play my set, kick it for a little while, and then it's time to go because life moves. I got to go do something, And so I understand that. I'm not going to know everybody's personal lives and things like that. And so as far as the artist is concerned, I would love for you to see my music. That way I can kind of get an opinion from the artist perspective of what you think of what I'm doing. And then as far as like I've played shows where there's not a lot of people, there are people. For me, like I've booked shows where there's not a lot of people. It happens. You're gonna have shows, but it's never about trying to put blame on anybody else or say, oh, like or just whatever kind of language people want to use in order to deflect from themselves that they feel as though they failed. And like you have to kind of get rid of that mentality of like, oh, I failed, because it's like, no, you didn't. You hosted a show. Like, did you have a number in mind? Because if you didn't set a number in mind of how many people were supposed to be here, well, if you got 10 and there's 10 people, you were successful. If there's 20 and there's 20, okay, you did what you want to do. I've had shows before where I'm just like, oh, man, nobody showed up, dude. Okay, what do I got to do differently? And sometimes you have to not book yourself. I have to realize too, man, I've been playing in town for years now. And so it gets to a point where I have we have the Sundays at Backyard. We've got Thursdays at Backyard. We have other places, but you have to start booking other people. You have to like, for me, I guess what I'll say is I know that I'm always going to love making beats. I'm always going to make beats. I had a lot of people supported me right when I started. There's still a lot of people who enjoy my music and come to shows. Not as many as once before, but that's just the way it goes when you're a local artist. So then I decided, okay, how do I still be involved with music and doing something that I love and helping Denton grow and helping artists in Denton grow the same way the whole town helped me? Well, cool, I can start booking these people. So like Zeke Forever or even yourself, man, or Scal, Leon Carlo, Lorelei K, MJ Porter, all these people whose music I genuinely like. That's now an avenue for me to bring people out, and then all of a sudden, once I'm booking other shows for other people, now those people are showing up to my shows or showing up to the stuff that I'm curating and putting together. So you start to create a community in a way.
Yeah, that's where I think that y'all have that kind of like that parallel to where, with you having a brand that you're getting so many people involved with and it has a great message, you're curating shows, you're putting more people on it. It's like I feel like y'all have a lot in common in that whether it's on purpose or not, like y'all are both building up y'all's artistic communities, even with just your first event. I feel like it's a crazy thing to walk into a room and like half the people I'm like, oh, Tev, like, I know you, like, how's it going? Or Wolf, like, hey, what's up? Like, how's it going? And then there's also these other people that are really dope that I've never seen before, but now I'm a fan, now I'm a friend, and that's because of local show curators and people who are trying to get stuff together.
That's like the thing that, like, you know, with the Concept Sound Fusion, it's like originally, you know, I wanted to have like the whole 9 yards. Like, I wanted it to be a bigger thing than what it is right now. Like, I wanted to have like people painting. Like, I even thought of a violinist. Like, I was thinking of like the craziest thing, but it's just like, right now it's a stepping stone. And just like you guys said, it's like, I'm going to anybody and everybody's event. If it's going to cost $10, $20, it's money I'm probably going to waste on junk anyways. So it's like, I might as well go invest it so that people, like the artists that I may invite, have them at least see my face. Like, oh yeah, I can, it's a conversation start. Like, oh, I saw you perform at XYZ. You know, it's like it's a groundbreaking response. Like, okay, cool. Like, you know, but this is what I want to do with you. Yeah. You know, because like right now I'm thinking of the next Sound Fusion. I already have concepts on that, but it's like I'm gonna have partner with people like Sage, you, like Delion Ravon, that for the idea itself, because it's like, how can I involve that big idea? It's something to where like I'm gonna have me and you probably do the party, but a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, there's all kinds of fun stuff that can be done.
I mean, but a whole bunch of people just realize like, yo, like this shit's big. Like it's bigger than what we think it's gonna be. You know, but
yeah, for sure. You know, and one thing that's crazy is like, I don't know of any other town, and maybe Jake does, that has a local radio station where you can come on and talk about this stuff and just broadcast it to all these people. So like, even the idea that there is a city that's interesting in fostering that creativity and allowing people to talk about what they're going to be doing, and then sending that out, that to me is just, you know, it's very rare to find that. So and you're starting to see more cities and towns interested in what's going on locally, which is what I like. And I felt, and I don't know because I didn't live in Denton 30 years ago, but when I've seen like the Fry Street festivals and stuff that used to go on, I feel like that was a very invested in local type thing, and it was big. And I think we're starting to see that more and more. You see that happening at Backyard on Bell with some of the events that they throw. The biggest crowd I've ever played for was like 2,000 people at there for one of the big events that they had there. You know, so you're starting to, and a lot of it was local artists and local performers. So you're starting to see more and more people coming out interested. You know, I think that has to do with, as silly as it sounds, like interested in local food. Local libations, local music. Yeah, people want to buy stuff, especially here. They want to buy stuff that's more local. They want to invest in that. And I put it this way: like, I've always thought, whose bills do I want to help pay? You know, like, you want to know why I wear Sanford Black's old shoes? I bought them for $30, man, because that's gonna pay for Sanford. You know, like that's you know.
You told me that a while back, and that's really stuck with me, and that really determines like who I work with, because anytime that I work with someone, I want to give them a payment for their service. You know, and it's just kind of like, I want to keep the money circulating within the same few. Yeah. Oh, it might get bigger later, you know, but just like the people who've always been there, the people that are developing alongside me, because you know, $100 for a mix might help pay my homie Zay's utility bill. You know? And I'm like, thank you, thank you for the service, but also you deserve this for.
And that's what I mean. And like you've talked about developing those relationships, reaching out to people. It doesn't matter who you are. I just want to get to know you. Yeah. You know, and so by doing that, you create a much more personal connection with people. And they start to develop a more personal connection with the brand and the idea. Definitely. And the fact that your brand has a message behind it, and you can even tell, like, is this one of your designs right here?
Yeah, so this is one of the original stuff that it's like one of like the designs I came out with. I'm probably gonna relaunch later. You know, so like the key things that I've used in the beginning is a dove and rose. You know, the dove to me symbolizes a couple things: hope, love, and freedom. And the rose itself just symbolizes love. You know, it's another way of like hearts and stuff like that. So I was like, you know, I started thinking of like, man, how can we get a message in between these two items? So I came up with you know, putting all the words in between the actual images. And you know, just forming it to the image that it is, and it's still visual to a lot of people. And a lot of people are like, yo, I love that. Like, how can I get that for my daughter? How can I get that for me? Like, I'm not selling it.
How did you become, you know, how did you become so focused on such a positive message?
Man, honestly, so a lot of things that people don't know about me is I am Nigerian.
Okay.
I was born in Chicago, but situation happened. I moved to Nigeria with my mom's family from 2003, 2010.
Okay.
Coming back into the States itself, it was like a social disconnect. It's like everything that you would think of in between like middle school and high school that's cool and of, I couldn't relate.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like I found myself just being like the oddball out in between everybody, whether it be with music or movies or cartoons. Like I was that disconnected from people that I couldn't relate. So I found myself like putting myself down, and I had like other people just in a sense verbally bullying and all that stuff. It's high school, it happens.
Yeah.
But the way I looked at it was that it's not just other races, it's my race too. So which brought me, I was like, bro, like why can't we just all get along? You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I'm gonna, getting into fashion was never a thing for me because I couldn't afford it. But I was just like, bro, like I'm gonna make stuff that I like to wear, and if somebody likes it too, it's even better. Because somebody told me something like earlier this year, like, bro, you're gonna start a movement. I was like, no, I'm not. I don't want to start a movement.
Yeah.
I just want to start something that people can relate to.
Yeah.
And that's really it. Is that coming out of a box and showing that you are bigger than what things really seem. That's it.
Yeah, for sure. And I can definitely, I can understand that for sure. And I think that, there's very few people who cannot relate to the idea of feeling disconnected, you know, and I feel like it can happen to everybody in your life. You can feel a little disconnected, whether you move somewhere where you don't know anybody and you're in the 4th grade, or you find yourself going, your best friends all move away at one time, or you're the one guy who stayed behind and all your other friends went to some colleges somewhere, or, you're the girl who didn't get invited to the birthday party. Who knows? Everybody feels that. So everybody can connect with that in a way. Everybody deals with strife and struggle, and those who claim they have, and I don't necessarily. I mean, maybe there's a couple out there. Some people got a pretty smooth sailing.
Yeah.
The guy who created the pet rock.
His
family just been chilling.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
I just feel
we
like
don't have to worry about that
Yeah.
guy.
I just
Shout out
feel
that
like
guy.
it's like people don't show it, like because it's like, let's say like you have a tight group of friends,
Yeah.
in a sense you can bury like what you're feeling, the heartache underneath all that emotion, because it's like you're happy, but are you really happy?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like
the sad clown.
exactly. So it's like the reality of me was that it was like a front.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not gonna lie, fronted. I was like, I don't have much, but I'm gonna pretend to be happy. But when I went home, I was just this little kid just balled up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But in reality, I was just like, bro, like I need to move forward with my life and find a way to not only put myself out there, but to not necessarily just find friends, but just find people that I can relate with.
Yeah, you can connect with.
That I can connect with and possibly build something for the future.
Yeah, and so this brand, in a way, is that vessel.
Yeah,
it's what allows you to. Would you say that it makes you more comfortable approaching people? Like you feel like you have a reason to talk to people?
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's like, hey, check this out, like so it's like it's more so me introducing myself. So it's like every time like I go somewhere now, it's like I definitely have to do the thing, put on a t-shirt, rep the brand, the whole 9 yards. But it's like, putting myself out there is just it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
So that's why like I find myself like I told myself, I was like, man, instead of me just going to these events, because sometimes, like, let's be honest, like when people go to events, a lot of times they might just be there to enjoy a good time, enjoy the music, the DJ, and maybe not even purchase a thing. I was like, because buying a thing at every event gets old. I was like, bro,
and
like
expensive.
I was just like, bro, like how can I just rep my brand, throw my own events, like it literally, like I want to be the only merchant there. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I'll let the artists come through and do whatever they want. But at the end of the day, it's like, bro, like music was one of the first things that came to mind. I was like, bro, like I listen to so many different genres of music. And I was just like, bro, like I feel like people that are in music or in this industry per se, don't speak on the equality that there is within each other. Because I feel like with the word equality, I feel like people like underplay it. They're like, man, like nobody really says like, oh, I have African American friends or I have Hispanic friends. They're just like, yeah, I have friends.
Yeah.
You know, but in reality, it's like, think of how many other ethnicities you know.
Yeah.
You know, but it's so underplayed because it's like people are like, man, I have friends, but in reality, like we have friends we're multicultural.
Yeah.
In some
Yeah.
aspect, you know, it's
Definitely.
like I don't feel like it's 50, 60 years ago where you just listen to rock.
No, absolutely not.
But you see what I'm saying is that
yeah.
people don't speak on that.
Yeah.
And my thing now is like, bro, like I'm gonna force people's hand. Like we're gonna talk about this.
I mean, I listen to and I think my thing is, man, is just how I grew up was we listened to a lot of different types of music. There really wasn't a lot of country in the house.
Yeah.
But my mom listened to, you know, a lot of 80s, 90s rock. You know, my dad listened to some, you know, like Neil Young, and then my dad was listening to Motown, and my brothers were listening to hip hop, and my brothers were listening to Criss Cross, and then they were listening to House of Pain, and then, you know, and like Green Day, and so all these different types of music, and so I was exposed to a lot of different types of people, and you know, to this day, I think that's why I do have a more diverse group of friends as well that are, you know, that are all different creeds, colors, and ethnicities, and one of my favorite things about the neighborhood that I live in is when I drive down the street, there's people outside barbecuing. There's people outside. Like, there's this one guy, I'm so jealous of him every time, dude. He's out, and he's just got this huge piece of meat on a spigot. And I think he's making, like al pastor or something, because then he has this whole squad of family out. They got tables all in the front yard just making tacos for everybody. And I love it, man. Like, that's what I love about other cultures, you know, is like, that looks awesome. I want to have all these people over, sit them in front, you know, and you know, we can lose that in a world where we can get on our phones and our devices, and we can feel disconnected while there's so many people around us, you know, and so that is, you know, we are in a sense pack people, you know, we do like people in a way, you know, like it might be a little difficult at times, but you're also not supposed to be around over 100 people, you know, like you're supposed to have your family, your squad, you know, and that's what you have, and that's where you can remain, and then you get to start, you know, you start meeting this person and this person, your group grows a little bigger, and then a little bigger and a little bigger, and then you feel more comfortable with these people and these people. Definitely. You know, and then you're just, you know, you're going to these shows, you're spreading your message, you're creating a good, positive idea behind the brand, you know, and like I said, I think that for me, music was a way to hang out, you know. Yeah. Rapping, hip hop, you know, like making beats was a way for me to hang out, and I loved it anyways. You know, I was just like, I don't care what culture created this or whoever wants to say whoever made it. I'm gonna be a part of it because it's awesome. Yeah, I like the way those drums sound.
I like the reality is like you see, like you're not afraid to speak on it. Yeah, but it's just like you gotta understand. A lot of people don't speak on it. Yeah,
well, you know, the fact that you're starting the conversation I feel like is very important. Yeah, because I feel like once you kind of strip it back a little bit, you start to think like, you know, like, man, I don't know. Like, I think one thing that I think is like you have to be smarter than like the phone algorithms, like what you were saying, to where, you know, your news feed starts to pile up, and then if you just walked out the door. Yeah, and you talk to your friends. It's like, you know, like you say, it's not like, oh, I have black friends or I have white friends. It's just like, yeah, so I talked to my friend today. Yeah. But you would think that was not happening anywhere if you just stayed on your phone all day because of all the negativity that's spread. It's just go outside.
We really do. We really do talk to each other. Yeah. I promise.
Yeah, it's like, you know, go outside.
Go outside. Yeah, I mean, it's even like, you know, it's scientifically shown that like going outside makes you feel better. I remember I saw this study one time, and I think it was supposed to be like a joke thing that was like, science shows that spending time together is good for your health. Yeah. Like, I was like, oh, who would have thought? You know, that's why I literally hang out with people an hour every week on Tuesdays from 7 to 8 p.m. and talk to them.
Man. Here we are.
Because socializing is good. I know that for a fact. I'm a social butterfly. That's why I love this town too, because I can walk outside, go out the door, come right up here. If I don't see anybody in a lap, I get concerned.
You're like, where'd they go?
Yeah.
We're in the simulation.
Like, oh, no, what'd they do? Y'all deleted all my friends. That's not cool. All right, so I want to talk a little bit more before we're done here about sound fusion. All right, just so if anybody's tuning in, or maybe they're tuning in a little bit late, maybe you're clicking through the interview. What's up, Luke P? Lofty Beats tuning in right now.
Good
evening, boys.
What's up, Luke P?
So once again, that is going to be happening the 21st, of this month, September 21st at Ruins in Deep Ellum. It is a 21 and up show from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. And then what was the adjustment y'all made to $10?
So we're doing a 10 before 10.
Okay, $10 before 10 o'clock,
before 10.
$15 after.
We'll
debate. We'll see.
Debate on that.
Yeah, we'll see.
We're just trying to have a full house by 10 p.m.
We'll see how Daddy Warbucks is feeling. Yes, and then a ton of fantastic artists. Our man Sage Baker right here is going to be there, of course. And then De Leon Revon. We got Samsonite, Ebo, Coach Tev, and Cure for Paranoia. I recently DJ'd over at Andy's for a show, and Cure for Paranoia, the frontman, the rapper, he showed up, and that dude has a very interesting flow style.
It's unique.
Yeah, it's unique. And it was interesting because I had just started watching Hip Hop Revolution. There's 3 seasons, and they talk about rhyme schemes and stuff. And it was it's a very unique. That boy fills words. He
it's like I can't even explain. Like the first time I heard him, it was probably 2 years ago at I forgot the name of this place, but I know it was around October, 2 years ago. Gas Monkey.
Monkey.
Yeah, I saw him Gas Monkey, and I was like, man, this is dope. It was unique as hell. I had never seen or heard anything
so
like
2 years ago you saw it? Yeah, now you're booking him for a show.
Exactly.
So that's cool, man.
Full circle, man. I was just
working, man.
Man, I was man, as soon as Matt gave me that text, you can book these guys. I was like, yeah.
That's awesome.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
make
it go down.
Full circle, man.
Make it go down, man. Well, fellas, it's been awesome talking with y'all tonight. I appreciate you coming on,
Thanks
man, and
meeting
you down there. Sage, it's always good to have you out here, man. Once again, folks, we've got Colored but Entitled. They're going to be throwing a show, or this man. I don't even know. I think it's just you. Oh, come on. There we go. All right. That's going to be going down September 21st. We've got Sage Baker, Cure for Paranoia, Ebo, Samsonite, De Leon Revon, and Coach Tev. It's going to be a really, really good time. Once again, fellas, thank you so much for coming on
Thanks
tonight.
for having us, man.
It's been a pleasure. Y'all make sure to stay tuned in. We got Ellie Bell and the Denton Vibe coming up after this. I will see y'all next week right here on DentonRadio.com. See you later. Peace.
Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. We want to thank our partners and sponsors who made this show possible. And now stick around for a word from all of us here at Discover Denton. Do you love live music? If so, make Denton, Texas your next vacation. Find more information at discoverdenton.com.